And welcome back to another episode of good old Pokemon Knowledge. As always, we got Mr. Dan Ketchum Collectables, and I'm gonna let Dan.
Oh no!
I'm gonna let Dan immediately take the reins as I go turn on my wife's Netflix.
How's everyone doing tonight? We've got quite a big night. I am on site in person here with PK. In about 40 minutes, we're gonna be going live on Fanatics. That is what I made the trip out here for. We had a fun day doing some things with the families. Let me find it. I hope I brought it. I hope I have it. I have it here. So what we're going to do here tonight is we are going to be breaking Fossil First Edition, where the logo on the box is. It kind of covers the first edition, but I promise it is first edition. If you see the writing, if you see the stickers, this box was verified. I opened it up. I weighed the packs. I did it all in an unlisted video on YouTube. So we're not going to have any kind of issues with that. It's going to be a good, legitimate, genuine box. We're going to do all 36 packs as $1 auctions. We're going to do... Oh, no. Is the mic not on? Okay, the mic is on. I didn't see any green bars bouncing in his OBS because I had to scroll down. But, yeah, we're going to do $1 auction for all 36 packs. We are going to open heavies, hollows. We're going to open those live. Should be 12 hollows in a box. We are going to ship sealed all the lights. So that's what's going on later tonight. We've also got sealed product. We got singles. We got slabs. Everything starting at $1 as always. But how's everyone doing tonight? We got PK coming back to the captain's chair. I talked him through what we're doing tonight.
Oh, we're shilling.
All that good stuff. We're on the pump. We're fully on the pump.
We are shilling right now. I hope you guys are all doing well. I do see we got a lot of people in the chat, but how was your day today? So what do? We did a science center with the kids.
Yep. Kids were having a blast. It was one of those things where, like, you go into one room, one exhibit, one area,
and they don't want to leave.
You can't drag the kids away from there. And they're like, no, this is too much fun. Can't leave.
They cry
you take them
when
to the
you
next
take
thing,
them.
and then they love that one more. And then, but you can't get them to move on. And they had a blast. They probably only saw 10% of the exhibits because they just would get stuck on them. But They had a good time.
And it's always like the ones where you drive on a wheel or something. It's always my kids are talking on the phone to nobody.
The ambulance was a popular one, yeah. There was about 20 kids bouncing around in there.
Then we tried to do New Haven pizza for the second time.
0 for 2.
0 for 2. And then we ended up going to a hibachi. But I feel like I had to do a clickbaity title, so at the very end I just put Pokemon Investment is doomed. Because it was either we're booming or we're doomed.
Yeah, you always need boom or doom. It needs to be something very, like, emotional, very sensational. You need to get people fired up one way or the other. We're getting rich or we're going broke, but we're going to do it together. One of the two.
So, what's the hot topics right now? So, Journey Together is hot, but Journey Together, that's almost vintage at that point. Because we're already at Destined Rivals in my brain.
Yep. Journey Together is like 1 week ago. It has the
well
pre-release. It has the full release next week. But it's already almost old news without having come out yet.
It is old news.
Because
it's vintage.
Destined Rivals, you got Talk of the Megas, you got, like,
30th anniversary.
we're always
Black
6
and white
months,
sets.
a year out, 2 years out.
Megas, yeah.
Yep. But it's a good problem to have, right? I guess there's always excitement, there's always hype about what's here, what's coming, every angle, every direction. We're booming. Yes, we booming.
We booming. I'm gonna ask you this question. The most recent reprint that came out. What did you get for you got nothing.
3 Surging Sparks boxes, not cases. Boxes.
What
two,
are they? What are they?
Twilight Masquerade and 1 Paldea Evolved.
And that's what, $1 million through distribution.
And that's $1 million account, 11-year-old account. That's I heard guys like Rudy. Rudy got like
3 cases. He said.
Yeah, depending on he probably got 3 cases of Surging, 2 cases of Twilight, 1 case of Paldea. If I had to guess, something along those lines. It's
So what are they
crazy.
printing then? So that's the question, right? What are they? They're printing something.
If I had to guess, they're printing a lot of Destined Rivals. But will it be enough? A lot of people say there's no amount they could print that would. I think there is an amount. Will they actually print that amount? I don't know. If Journey Together is 250, and if Surging Sparks is 250, if they print the same, could it be 300 at release? Absolutely, it could be.
It could be 500 at release.
More. I hope I get double of Destined what I got of Journey and Surging. I got this much, say, for surging. I got 10% less.
Did you hear what? Did you hear what Leonhardt said?
I did hear, yeah. Something
That was a hot
on
take.
The thing with
That was like a secretive deep take. Where, so if you guys don't know, so shout out to Peak That Chew. So he had Leonhardt on his channel, and Leonhardt said that he has a contact at Pokemon because some of the really big content creators, you guys already know that they do get product for pre-release. So he actually has a contact there, and the contact pretty much said, "Yeah, we messed up," but they said we're gonna print the new stuff. That's pretty much what he said, like, to boil it down.
Yeah, I think we're a long ways away from hearing numbers. I usually hear numbers way later than like your Danny Phantoms and guys with the big channels on YouTube. I hope that I'm getting at least 50% more destined than Surging and Journey. Because like if I don't, it's like, what are they printing? I mean, they gave us
Decks.
they give us 216 packs, and we break 4,500 packs a week. They literally gave us 8 hours worth of packs. We're gonna destroy more tonight alone, and tonight is focused around the fossil box. And there's a decent chance that we end up still ripping more than a couple hundred packs. PK will be right back again. Basic says invest in distro stock. Let's see. We got Pokey Chef. Pokey Chef got to rip some 151 with 2 kids in the restaurant right now. Super awesome. You love to see it. So the New Haven pizza. We went to go get New Haven pizza, and the lines were just crazy. So I parked street parking between Sally's a Pizza and Frank Pepe's Pizza in New Haven. The lines were just pretty crazy. The kids were bouncing around. We ended up getting hibachi. Hibachi hit really nice. It was a good dinner. It was a good time. We got fried ice cream for dessert. I'm not much of a sweet tooth, but I do have some. I've got some peanut M&Ms here with me. I'm more of a peanut M&M guy than a fried ice cream guy, but it was a really good dinner. It was a good time. Dan's hot buy list next week: Surging, Twilight, and Paldea. We really do need Surging. I did just order 8 cases of Surging from somebody. So those are inbound direct to PK. PK really hasn't had much Surging. I heard about the reprints coming. It's a 3-month-old set going for $250. I expected that I was going to get, hey Dan, Distro calls me up. Hey Dan, we've got 4 cases, 6 cases, 8 cases for you. 3 boxes. 3 boxes is what they gave me. So that really surprised me. That really blew my mind. Maybe they're printing more Surging. Maybe they're going to do that little wave. They're going to do another wave this summer. I have no insight to that. I have no clue. We're going to see what happens. But I think I might try the New Haven pizza tomorrow. If you follow me on my channel, I probably will report back on some of that. We'll see, though. I'll have a recap for the weekend on my channel later this week.
Recap will be best pizza that ever existed in the history of mankind.
Maybe.
I love that Jake says PK sucks. Appreciate you, Jimmy. I call him Jake. Jimmy Blake. Eat a fat one, Jimmy. Mason Berry says, "Whoa, this feels weird."
Are you in frame?
Yeah,
I feel like I'm hogging the whole frame.
This is
there we go.
Yeah. So I could actually do. So
there we go. Straighten it out more.
There we go. Perfect. But no, we booming.
We are booming. We are definitely booming.
What do you think best play is right now? For you, it's packs, but I mean,
for me, yeah.
If you weren't doing
the most scalable play is just buying at 80%, selling at 100 to 110%. That's scalable. Like any platform you're on.
If you were just
grading, like I know people that are crushing doing bulk. I know people that are crushing doing grading plays with only CGC, with only PSA, with only like. Pick which way you want to make way too much money in the hobby right now. I don't think this will last forever, but it's been lasting longer than I would have expected. It's pretty wild right now.
The IR play was crazy for a lot of people. That's finally started to come back to earth. People are like, it's a crash. It's like, it's not a crash. You had an IR.
Something goes up
10x.
20x and then drops.
20x.
Even if it drops 50%. Like,
yeah. People are like, look at this. This car that was selling for $2 a month ago went up to $100. Is only selling for
down to
50 now.
50?
Must suck to be in this hobby. It's like, whoa, bro.
Who's crushing doing bulk? Can you put me in contact with them?
Yeah.
I mean, Mason's crushing. He's got a whole mountain of it. Look at him.
I'm gonna go after Mason pretty soon.
I know.
I got PK's bulk mountain going
Mason,
on
when
over.
does your bulk route hit PK? Because he's ready. He's ready for his pickup.
I already talked to Mason. I think my 5-row boxes are worth more than what he's paying.
Yeah, there's a pretty solid stack out over there.
Grimer says Sally's Pizza is top tier.
I'm excited to try it. I definitely been built up a lot. I've tried and failed twice to get it. So now it's like, it's running the risk of like being pumped too much. And it's like, it's good, but is it that good? We'll see. I'm open-minded. I would love for it to be my favorite pizza ever.
But I'll go back to the hobby. You got a lot going on. I'm busy. What do you think? I don't know. Is this one of those markets, like, if you can't be successful in this market, you never be successful? Because I have said that, and I've gotten pushback before.
Yeah, I quit my job 3.5, 4 years ago, and I knew things were gonna have to like calm down some, and some things did, but more than anything, it's like we're way more hyper than we were then. Areas of it calmed, areas of it got a lot crazier.
When did I quit my job? Was it last month? It hasn't even been a month. I haven't even quit my job. I'm not even like officially a month in.
February was your first full month, right? So
I thought it was, but now that I'm looking at it, I think February was.
I think February 1st was your. Yeah, I think March.
Oh, it was. Yeah, so February 1st.
Yeah.
So this is going to come on 2 months full time. And it feels like forever since I worked that job.
It is. Yeah, I mean.
I don't even know what would, like. It feels forever ago.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking like years ago. Like
6 weeks, 7 weeks.
I don't. Yeah. That's crazy. We got Rattle in the chat. Says, hey, PK. Hey, Dan. Hey, chat. Rattle. It's good to see you, Mr. Rattle. Pokemon.
How's it going, Rattle?
Yeah, it seems like forever ago. Rattle's full-time Pokemon. He went full-time a while ago.
Yeah. There's a lot of. I know a lot of full-timers now. One of many. Engineers and accountants and first mates or whatever Nick was, and it's like there's so many people doing this full time, and I think at some point we'll calm. At some point things will come around. Boxes will be available for MSRP or under again. I just don't know when. I don't know how. And
would you have said that 5 years ago? It's like in 2020, you're like, it's gonna come down. We're already half a decade in, and like most people,
I can't believe
you
that
work
was
20
5
years.
years
Some
ago.
jobs you get a pension. You know, we're like a quarter of the way there.
Yeah, that was 5 years ago. That's nuts. That's so crazy to think.
I would love 5 years from now. I mean, I'm talking 5 years from, not 2020, like just today, like just 5 years from today.
5 years from now, we'll be coming up on the 35th anniversary. There will be 1,700 unique Pokemon in the Pokédex.
Have you broken 7,000 subscribers? Have I broken 7,000?
I hope I will have broken 7,000 subscribers by then. If I go at the rate that I'm going, I could be 10K by the end of the next year. We'll see. We'll see if that actually pans out. But right now we're booming. That's not my historical rate.
I don't know. 5 years from now seems like... So this is a weird thing. I always say this, days feel like years, but years feel like days. Mm-hmm. So when you're living in the moment, everything's kind of going slow motion. It's like, every day your list must just be, I wake up at this time, and by the time I go to sleep, I got to get all these things done. And then when you're living in the day, it's long, but when you look back on it, you're like, 2020,
yeah,
blip. 2021, blip. 2022, and you could pinpoint like maybe 5 days, 10 days, 20 days out of 365 days. You can remember like 10 or 20, like meaningful of the hobby, not your life.
Yeah.
But then when you start to count them down, you're like, yeah, I was super busy that whole time. Mm-hmm. But it just goes by so fast.
It does. Yeah, it's crazy.
I wonder if when we talk about the 35th anniversary, we'll talk about how we talk about celebrations now.
Yeah, and
right?
I was around when Celebrations came out. I was around when Generations came out, and it's just crazy It's crazy to think. I can't believe that what's going on is going on. I can't forecast at all. And there's a lot of people forecasting, a lot of confidence, a lot of like this has to happen, this will happen. I've been here for a long time and I have no clue.
The way people are talking, they're saying the scalpers will be at the Pokemon vending machines 5 years from now. We'll be having the same conversation. That's what some people are saying.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
And a lot of people are saying that they're leaving the hobby over it, and it's like LGSs are full and the machines are like I don't know.
I tried to get that Pokemon Center release instant.
I didn't even try.
I tried. I had a second screen. It was this screen right here. Just tried. Just instant. Sold out.
I don't even bother. Yeah, I buy from the people who buy from those.
Basic said the fact that Breakthrough and Breakpoint will be 10 years old this year is nuts. 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I got in it. Phantom Forces. That was 11 years ago.
Yeah, but that's even older.
Yep. That's wild.
Breakthrough, Breakpoint, Fates Collide, Steam Siege, Evolutions. Evolutions will be 10 years old next year.
Yep.
10 years since Evolutions came out. 10
That's
years
so
since XY.
That's crazy. And a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to hold these things for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and you don't know what you're going to be doing in 10 years. Like if you told me 10 years ago, if you told him 10 years ago, you're going to be doing full-time, sitting on a live stream, getting ready to do a WotC box break. I guess 10 years ago, to be fair, I was buying these. 10 years ago, I was buying this box for $400 a piece, and I was breaking them myself. No live stream, no nothing. I was ripping them. I was ripping the heavies. I was selling the lights as art sets to pack collectors like Nick Old School and others. I was creating my own art set collection, and I was actually ripping several boxes 10 years ago. But if you told me, Dan, in 10 years, that same box that you're ripping tonight for $400 to try to grade a Lapras, which at the time was selling for $600-700 in a 10. If you told me, Dan, you're going to be going live to a few hundred people selling that box that you paid 15 grand for, that, and you're going to be full-time, and you're going to be working with your buddy that's full-time too, my mind would have melted. It couldn't have processed that. It wouldn't have made any sense whatsoever. Crazy.
What do you think about the age demographic? Because right now, you know Gary, I know Gary. Mm-hmm. Gary's like what, one of the very, I mean him, there's Ed, Birdman, like Ed. Not a lot of people know Ed because he's not as like out there. Mm-hmm. But how many old timers are in this hobby? Are we just gonna fast forward 15 years from now and like people are gonna look at like Rusty and be like, look at that old guy?
Imagine the 60th anniversary. We're gonna be those guys, and there's gonna be a lot of us presumably, and then there's gonna be the kids that are in our age range now, 30, 40, somewhere in there.
I think there'll be people getting in for the 30th anniversary, and then 15 years from now, people will be like, they're just lucky that they got in early.
Yeah.
Like,
and imagine
this year's will be early.
Oh, you wouldn't want to been in the market in 2025. The liquidity was dark. Like the liquidity was nothing like it is today in 2040, 2045. I don't know that we'll hear that part of it, but we'll probably hear that. Oh, you would have been lucky you got in early. But
no, I mean that. Like, could somebody say, getting in for the 30th, you were in early? Could that be a conversation? Like they were early. They were there in 2016 or 2015 or 2025.
If you want to go perma bull, if you want to go like full thrust rocket emojis, there's an argument to be made. We were actually talking about this on PokeFlips yesterday. Like, what % of Americans, let alone like all the other countries of the world, what % of Americans do you think have engaged with Pokemon cards specifically in the past 12 months? 5%? Nick was saying like 30%. I think he was thinking video games though.
Well, I could see Pokemon the IP. That's huge.
Pokemon the IP, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Pocket. Like I'm talking physically, bought a slab, opened a pack, a 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch rectangle.
Your way.
But like have engaged with a card in some regard. In some extent. I think less than like 5% probably. I would say, which means we have upside. We have upside potential, right? And Nick was saying 30%, 40%, but I think he was thinking deeper. He was thinking like video games, all that stuff. I wouldn't think it's anywhere near there. I think something like 5% is more reasonable, which just like
Why am I?
going back to what I was
dark.
saying.
I'm less than 5%. Open a pack.
Yeah, like open a pack or had a
How
card
many
of
people
some
do
kind.
you know in your life not Pokemon?
Not a whole lot. I have a couple of buddies from high school that got back into it recently.
well,
I
I
sold them
don't.
some Crown Zenith. But yeah, like what I'm saying here, like the permeable thing. Think of this future where somehow cards just become like we're becoming such a digital world, AI, automation taking away a lot of jobs. If people really cling, get nostalgic, if people go back to cardboard in a deep way, if sports cards grow, trading cards grow, there's a bull case where in 20 years, 25% of American adults have like opened and engaged with trading cards. Like I don't know that that's gonna happen, but like theoretically it could.
So here, let's talk about this. So 2020, 2021 was boom time. What's the percentage then? I feel like you still say it's 5% then, though.
Yeah.
Like if we're having the same argument, it's like 5% because obviously the market has grown exponential from 2020. But I feel like if we were having the same conversation, you'd be like 20% of people, or no, 5% of people deal with Pokemon cards. And I feel like there's no way that the percentages wouldn't change. Does that make sense?
It's such a hard concept to even wrap your mind around.
Because my whole thing is how do I go from 0 to 0? Because in my life it's 0 to 0. At least the way we do it, it's negatives. Like there's nobody.
Yeah, I don't know of anyone outside. Well, my two buddies from high school, they got back in the last few months. I had the whole conversation with them. The scalping, the this that. They tried Pokemon Center. They tried going to like Target, Walmart, and they couldn't find anything. And I'm like, hey guys, like everyone's going crazy fighting over $10 prismatic, $10, $12, $15 prismatic packs. People are going crazy fighting over $7, $8 surging packs. And I'm like, hey guys, Crown Zenith. I remember both of them. I sold one of them 40 Crown Zenith for $200 cash. No, 40 for $200 cash. I sold them for I gave them a good deal. I was paying at the time $450, I think, and I sold them to them for $5 cash. And it like they're like, yeah, it's like, do you want to pay $6, $650 cash for a set that's 2 months old that will likely be in print for 2 years, or do you want a set that you open 36 packs, you're gonna get hit like 30 to 40 times. You're gonna get a hit 30 to 40, like 30 to 40 hits, double bangers, all that stuff. And they like all that logic like hit them, and they're like, yeah, like let me go for Crown Zenith. One guy actually bought a V-Star box, the Japanese Crown Zenith equivalent, and patience, I think, but there's a permeable case where cardboard just gets so much more ubiquitous. Like right now, the Garys and those guys, whatever percentage it is for overall adults, I think it peaks between 30 and 40. Imagine 20 years from now a world where we're the old ones in our 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and it's 10% of our demographic. And then my kids are into it. Hopefully my grandkids will be into it. Imagine a world where Gary's demographic, Gary's age group is us, and a third of us are into it, and a quarter of our kids are into it. And like when multi-generational is that much bigger, there's like bull cases out there that could be made where this is all very early. Pokemon might be printing 30 billion cards a year, 40 billion cards a year in.
So I one time opened 1,000 packs of Paradox in a night. Will there come a time where I will tell the story and people will be like, did you ever open Paradox, Riff? And I'll say, yes, I opened 1,000 packs in one night. Like, what if somebody was like, I opened 1,000 packs of Skyridge? Would you be like, yeah, that's crazy?
Yeah, that's...
Like, oh, that's like a make-believe number of Skyridge. And it's like, oh, I pulled multiple crystals, and instead of crystals, you say alt arts.
Mm-hmm.
And then instead of a bunch of hollows, you said IRs. Because that's kind of the equivalent, right? So, crystals, illustration, or SIRs. And people would just be like, no, you didn't. Like, no. And you'd be like, yeah, I did. It was
captured on video. Go check the replays on Fanatics. They're there still. Hopefully.
Hopefully. How much server space does that take?
Hopefully they're still there. That is wild to think about, though. Like, I got back into the hobby in 2014.
But you never opened 1,000 packs of a set.
Well, I wish I created a YouTube channel, because I opened a box of every set. One box, not 1,000 packs, but like, had I captured that all on YouTube, even if it was a pre-record posted, I really wish I had. I mean, I'm glad I got on when I did. I'm glad I didn't miss everything that's happened over the past 4 years. But I really wish I had the first 6 or 7 years captured on YouTube.
I don't know, it's just weird. I keep thinking about the future. Maybe like because I'm really like digging my feet in right now. And I'm just like, I'm either going to do this, it's make or break.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. But maybe it breaks. Like, there's
It
so many.
might.
That's the problem, too. There's so many people. We're not talking like there's a few people hopping in. There are so many people. I tried to talk about this in my last live. Or maybe it was with Pikachu. I don't remember. They were back to back. But I was pretty much saying, like, out of the 2020 boom, you had all those spicy boys. You had all the, all your Patreon people. All those guys came out. Shout out to Retro. I think I gave Retrospecs a big shout out during it. Retrospecs is doing 7 figures right now. He's gonna probably do 8 figures pretty soon. That's all out of that Pokenomics original Discord.
Mm.
Like, are there gonna be people now today that 5 years from now are just gonna kind of repeat that? Is that a thing too, where it's like constantly rinsing and repeating? Just like you got these new just sharks come out.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be the crazy thing is the level of confidence people have projecting, let alone like 2, 5, 10 years. Like think 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was 14. I didn't have a cell phone yet. These days, kids get cell phones at 8 years old with access to like all the world's information, everything in their pocket. We don't know what the world's gonna look like in 20 years. It again, there are perma bull cases, but there are also like perma bear cases. Like 20 years from now, we might literally be plugging into the Matrix, living our entire worlds virtually. I don't think that's actually going to happen. But if you had told me 20 years ago, 14-year-old Dan, in 20 years, you're going to have like what cell phones have become, what all this AI stuff going on now just in the past year, like in technology, information, the way that it like exponentially accelerates, we have no clue what the world will look like in 20 years.
You consume a lot of content. I feel like I consume a lot of content.
Way too much content.
Nobody's ever had the 20-year talk that I could think of. Maybe it has happened. I'm not a hill I'm willing to die on.
20 years are real.
But I don't think anybody's ever had the 20-year talk. I don't think people are talking the way I think this is actually a first. In a very saturated, you have the same conversations over and over. Yeah. I think this is the first 20-year talk I've ever heard.
Dan leading us to assimilation. We will become one with our machine overlords.
Yeah, when Dan finally Skynets on us and he determines that all humans need to be evaporated.
At some point, I forget what the broader context was, but I have a short on my channel. Something about like my whole meme is like I'm always on the fence. I was on the fence in like the human robot war. Just once a winner is made clear, I will choose my side. But like as of right now, I'm on the fence.
I don't know. I struggle with the future because now that I'm full time, like I'm starting to have that thought. It's like, how long? But you had that 5 years ago.
Yeah, I quit my job almost 4 years ago, knowing that the market was not sustainable in the way that it was, and not only did it sustain, it got crazier, and. There's definitely cases to be made where like this is early for cards, a big card renaissance going on. I don't know.
So I think 2020, 21 was strong enough where 20 years from now people will talk about it. But I wonder if people talk about it the same way as we talk about like the boom that happened because of Pokemon Go. Where like there was a boom, but it wasn't that crazy of a boom. I wonder if people will say 2020, 2021, there was a boom.
That was a boom, but
it wasn't that crazy.
That wasn't
if that
a 25
happens,
boom. Yeah. And I need to listen back to it because I haven't listened back to it in a while. I feel like the last time I listened back to it was like 6 months ago. I don't listen to my old videos very often, but I made a video titled something like predicting the next boom in Pokemon. I can picture the thumbnail right now. And it's probably one of the worst aged videos that I ever made. Because I said something along the lines of like, people are, like, we're inside of a boom right now. And I almost like poked fun at people like, oh, waiting for the next boom, when's it going to happen? When is all my stuff going to 2x, 5x, 10x again? And I'm like, that is not coming. There's no way. We're too high, we're too big, we can't boom like that again. I have a 20-minute video ranting and rambling about that. And it's us existing the way we do today, prove that video very wrong. Because, like, we very much boomed from that time. I need to go back. I need to, like, make a video in the next month, like, reacting to my terrible takes in that video.
I mean, there could... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's the crash case, right? Like, too, which is always a real thing. I mean, there's the same case, too, where we're just talking about it right now, where it's like, where are we going to be at in 20 years from now? I wonder if in 20 years from now, there will be, like, one person left. And they're just like, do you remember all these people? And no one knows of you. No one knows of me. No one even knows of any of these platforms. No one knows. Maybe YouTube is even a thing. I don't know. I mean, is that the case? Because
Yeah.
one of my favorite quotes from Gary, and I quote it all the time, is Gary said that even if Pokemon stopped printing a card tomorrow, we still have 20 years. That's what Gary said. And I've quoted that 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I feel like it still gives us 20 years, but I don't know. But I look at... I hate to do the comparisons, but I feel like you gotta is kind of look at sports.
Mm.
Because when did sports card collecting really start to boom? Is it the 90s? Or was
Late
it
80s into the early 90s,
well,
I think.
I know the 70s had a lot. Like, see, I don't know enough about sports. Like, obviously you have, like, the 1952 tops, Mickey Mantle, blah, 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 and, like, all the kids are putting in their bike spokes and shit. But they say the same shit about 99 Pokemon. And then you still have a Gary King Pokemon that existed. Like, is there the Gary King Pokemon that existed of sports cards in 1950? Probably not.
And you see sports almost, like sports had a hard time, the junk wax era. And they saved themselves from that. They're doing well. Sports is doing really well with serialized cards. And I made a video about this recently. We've talked about it all the time. The Super Smash Brothers set, serialized cards in Pokemon. Like, if or when Pokemon starts going through a lull, a downturn, a recession, depression of, like, the Pokemon market, they have so many things in their back pocket. They have so many things they can slap on the table. Like, boom.
I still don't understand sports enough because, like, there's going to be one sports guy out there who's going to be like, this is the worst take PK's ever had. But, like, isn't it whatever, the 1909 T211 Honus Wagner, whatever, I don't know the exact year. T206 Honus Wagner.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, in tobacco packs. And then you got, like, Cracker Jack cards and all this. And then you had, like, I know some of these cards are handed out in newspapers and stuff until eventually you had, like, you know, the Babe Ruth cards in the 20s. Mm-hmm. And then pretty much it skips from, like, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig's of the 20s, and it kind of hops right into the 50s.
I forget when, like, Hank Aaron but yeah, you've got a lot.
Hank Aaron's the 60s.
Is he 60s? I think there's some big ones in, like,
the
30s.
But I'm saying,
yeah,
like,
I
1950s, you still have cards.
Yeah.
There was never a year where it was like, oh, cards died in 1959. And then they picked back up in 1963. There was always cards. And really, there was cards from, like, 1909. Mm-hmm. And then in some form, some shape. And they just kept going until... But I'm saying, like, when did people start really looking at sports card collecting differently? Like, I guess the way I would phrase it is in 1971, is a Mickey Mantle rookie card from 1952, is it still the most expensive card? And whatever, that could be $200, $300. But I'm saying, like, in 1971, was there somebody buying a Mickey Mantle rookie card for $300? Where now, whatever, it's $12 million in a PSA 10.
Yeah.
PSA didn't exist back then. But was there somebody in 1971 who was like, oh yeah, I used to buy Mickey Mantle rookie cards for $50-$60 because that's a card that came out of a 5-cent pack.
That would be cool to hear.
Not a $5 pack.
Yeah.
5 cent.
We're talking about 5, 10, 20-year
like
time frames.
That's what I want to know.
It would be cool to have an 80-year-old guy, a 90-year-old guy interviewed on here who, like,
I want to know. Like, is that a thing? Because then I feel like it would give more perspective, because I think our only good way to look at it is, like, give me a proven track record of a hobby similar. Baseball cards, I keep going to... I can't go to the Beanie Babies. I can't go to... What are you going to go... It's like sports. It's baseball, really.
Comic books has...
Maybe comic books.
Yeah, comic books were...
Comic books is different, too.
The golden era and the silver... weren't a lot of the Golden Age comics in like the 30s and stuff, 40s?
I want to say like Superman 1 was like 1936 or 1938.
Yeah, 30s, 40s, somewhere in there.
But there's got to be somebody in 1970 who was paying a lot for Superman 1.
Yeah, I have no idea what the progression was like for those.
But even then, when you hear about like Stan Lee tells stories, it's like Marvel was dead when Stan Lee took it over, and like Stan Lee was right in Captain America or whatever when he first got started.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because those were the track record ones. But I want to know. I wish I could get somebody who is like, oh yeah, I was baseball cards.
Yeah.
I was the Gary King Pokemon of baseball cards in 1974, and this is what I had, and this is what I bought, and this is what nobody wanted. Or I speculated on this new pitcher, Nolan Ryan. He played on the Mets. Then I watched him go to the Angels, and he kept doing really, really good. And then right before he got traded to the Astros, way before he got traded to the Rangers, he hit 2,000 strikeouts. And I'm like, whoa, 2,000 strikeouts. This dude's special. Like, was there that guy? And then everybody was like, yeah, Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan, he throws way too hard. He's going to blow out his shoulder. He's going to blow out his elbow. No way a guy that throws gas like him lasts. Like, I want to know.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, I speculate on Nolan Ryan.
That's one crazy angle we have with like some of the, like your Lorcana. The entirety of like Disney's been around a long time. Steamboat Willie, what's that? 100 years ago. He's hit like public domain at this point, right? They couldn't save him. They couldn't keep him under IP lockdown. But imagine 50 years from now, 100 years from now, if Lorcana's a thing. It's like that entire thing. It's like we're wondering, what were these people saying 60 years ago about the 52 mantle? We will know. Like the entirety of that thing will have been captured on YouTube, and it's all
good and bad takes.
Yeah, like
did you?
It'll be interesting.
I saw a video. It's like a guy pulled like a Michael Trout. He's like doing a break. It's like an Instagram short, and he's like, "Oh, Mike Trout. I think I've heard of this guy." And it's like whatever, like a numbered 1 out of 5 or something. And he's like, "Oh, maybe he'll do good one day," and just like doesn't penny sleeve it. Just kind of like, "Oh, here we go. Put it to the side.
Yeah.
Save it for later." But I guess sports is different in that way. But I wonder if like people go back and they'll be, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see for sure.
Cryptomon said, "Link that dude's channel. Couldn't find it, PK." I think he's talking about you.
Oh, Ketchum all collectibles. It's a lot of letters. It's bad branding. It's a very long name.
So if you guys look if you're in the live chat, if you look at the pinned comment, that is for the live me and Dan are doing tonight.
Oh yeah, we're getting close, aren't we? We should do a last this box, every pack from it, heavies opened, hollow guarantee, and lights shipped, and then I don't know where your stacks are, but we have a lot of goodies, a lot of $1 auctions. I brought this one because of PK. We got a nice PSA 7 base first Raichu. We got Special Delivery Charizard. We got some tag team stuff, Japanese PSA 10s, some 151.
Can we just talk? I guess this is a shill. You know, people get mad that I'm shilling.
Yeah.
Like, literally, while we're going live, they'll be like, you know, PK, I really used to like your channel until you started shilling how you and Dan make all your money. So, all these singles will be auctioned off.
$1 auctions always. No reserve, $1 start. Let the market.
Let the market.
Yep. Obligatory. Gotta have one of those. I don't have any graded though tonight.
How is that possible? I told people it was close to 100% guarantee.
We got one of these. Yeah, just a raw one. Just a raw one tonight. A lot of goodies tonight. We're going to be live over there in a few minutes. If you're looking to extend your night.
Dude, what about this Bubble Mew? Oh, God, I don't even know where. It's gone. Oh, that's pain. That's pain.
A big one. That's a big one.
Yeah, but that's pain. Like, if only a real one knows. Why is this card so painful to look at? Because no one ever pulled it.
And then if you did somehow, if
I
you were
never,
the one
I
person who
never
pulled
pulled
it,
one. Did
I
you
never-
pull
no,
one?
I never
I
pulled
never
one.
pulled one.
And if you did, those few who did, it was a PSA 8 or a
It
PSA 7.
maybe 7.
You were happy if it was an 8.
That is one of the darkest cards in the history of this hobby. People are like, oh, there's never been a set as hard as Prismatic Evolutions. It's like, whoa, time out.
Yeah.
Hold this beer. Let me show you a card.
Burning Shadows.
But we do got some slabs too.
It's gonna be a fun one. Last time I was here, we went till. What time did we go till? Way too late. I don't know if we're gonna go quite that late. We'll see. Last time I was here was a base set box. Charizard was pulled. Took a while. Blastoise was pulled.
Where's the Ava? Ava's a big Entei fan, right?
Yep.
What's the pop on this? Probably pretty low.
I have no idea. I'm not good with the Japanese pops, especially. The beauty looking back.
Are you
Pikachu
still buying
Standbox
these?
promo. I've not in a while.
I should buy one.
I'm buying packs for the live streams. I'm not buying much else. I'm not grading much right now. It's a full-time job keeping the pack stock.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys stopping by. We will be hopping right into the Fanatics Live. It is pinned right now. If you guys want to hop in, well, that's where we'll be. All right. Later, guys.
Have a good night.
This was the great Pokemon Shill of 2025.
Thanks, chat.
All right, so I have to do this.
Oh yeah, change the.